I don't think that words can express how grateful I am for energizing music on the morning after gala. Especially, those of us who were here between 8:30 and 9 this morning, I walked in and there was salsa music playing and Jeffrey was dancing in the foyer, so I joined him and I got my cardio in for the day. And that was really great. And this music is really making me want to put these shoes back on. Okay? So these were the shoes I was wearing last night. And, I gotta say, shoe shame is something that I am experiencing. Because, I got comments, everything from, oh my gosh, you're not gonna wear those all night, are you? And somehow I did make it all the way until it was time to walk to the car. Then I had to take them off. Oh, but you're a minister. Is that appropriate for you to be wearing these shoes? And truth be told, I did have a little padding in there because I do have some blisters from some other shoes that I was wearing, earlier in the week. So I had to put a little padding in here. And all of this really made me wonder, what is wrong with my feet? What is wrong with my feet that I'm getting blisters when I wear, some shoes that I think are beautiful? I can't stay in these all day because society tells me that I should be able to walk around in high heels all the time, right? So I've got some shoe shame. Shame is what Brené Brown describes as, when you feel that there's something wrong with you, okay? So, I just had to wear these comfy shoes today. I just was not going to do that again. But, it really made me think a lot about how shoes carry us through our daily lives. It's the way that we walk in them. It affects our posture and our health. It affects our comfort and our safety. I could have fallen and broken my ankle in those things, right? And it even affects our self-esteem because, really, I felt pretty good prancing around last night in those shoes. But our choice of shoes has these holistic effects on us and even communicates something about our personalities. In fact, last night, there was someone rather new to our community who came over to me and said, hey, where is that guy that, he's on the music team and he wears those Converse sneakers all the time? That's our darling Dale, and so people know us by our choice of shoes sometimes, okay? And sometimes, when we're walking in our shoes, we step in crap. Yes, Juan, I said that in church. And the crap represents the challenges that we have in life that can create these feelings of shame or guilt. Situations like losing a job, or experiencing a divorce, or even illness. Sometimes we think, what did we do to deserve this? These are feelings of shame. And so today, as we're exploring these chapters of Atlas of the Heart, we'll explore, while that crap of life, these crappy situations, while that crap is where it's at. Show me the dog. Yes. Look at that face. Humans interpret it as guilt. And guilt is defined by Brené Brown as that feeling of having done something bad. And that's in contrast with shame, which is, I am bad. Okay? And here's a story about shoes and shoe guilt. When my middle daughter was in second grade, I got a call from her teacher. Mrs. Rory said to me, Maria was not allowed to go on the playground today because she was wearing open-toed sandals. Please send her to school in sneakers so that her feet will be protected from the wood chips on the playground. Now, I was shocked, dismayed, and very confused because when I dropped my kids off at school that morning, they were all wearing sneakers. And in fact, when little Maria came home from school, she was wearing sneakers. So Mom, of course, looked in her backpack. And what did I find in there? Oh, it was more than these open-toed sandals. I found this whole red sparkly outfit that we had bought for a very special occasion that was coming up. And in fact, these little sparkly red sandals with a little heel that were appropriate for 7-year-olds. But she just really loved that feeling of being all dressed up, and she wanted to show off her first heels, right? So she had, the little fashionista snuck it off to school, changed in the bathroom, and then changed back again before she got on the bus to come home. Now, of course, I had to ask her, I had to say, hey, Mrs. Rory called me today about some sandals you were wearing. I'm really confused about this. And so she confessed and felt that guilt because she had done something bad. That's in contrast to the shame of, my feet are bad, right? And we all have these moments of shame and guilt, right? They feel pretty crappy. And young children can generally move through them pretty quickly, and they learn from their mistakes. But as adults, we tend to ruminate on this, right? We just think about it day after day. How could I do that? Why is this happening to me? And that pain blocks our good. So what can we do instead with this crap? Well, we can have compassion for ourselves and for others. We can recognize that others have difficulty in life just like you. We can allow and accept things just as they are in this present moment, because there is no rewind button in life. And claim our peace of mind for the highest happiness. Crap is where it's at. So self-compassion and self-forgiveness can heal shame and guilt, even when they're driven by perfectionism. Anybody here know that perfectionism? Anybody? No, I guess I'm alone? No. So Brené Brown tells us that shame needs me to believe that I am alone in my flaws. And sometimes I expect too much of myself. That's that perfectionism. So who's seen the Barbie movie? Slide? Thank you. So society tells me that a perfect foot is shaped like that. That's what I should be putting in my high-heeled shoes and wearing those around every day, right? But there's a line in the movie. You are so beautiful and so smart. This is a character talking to Barbie. You are so beautiful and so smart. It kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Now I invite everyone in this room to close your eyes and listen to me deeply. I am speaking to you. You are so beautiful and so smart. And it kills me to think that you don't think you're good enough. I don't think there was a dry eye in the theater when I saw that movie, because it's not just women that can relate to it. So, what tools do we have to heal from these expectations of ourselves? Well, Dr. Kristen Neff of the Center for Mindful Self-Compassion writes that self-compassion has 3 elements, and this is very similar to our CRAP acronym. So 1, acknowledge that this is a moment of suffering. Be gentle and kind to yourself. 2, recognize that you are not alone. Suffering and personal inadequacy are common human experiences. And mindfulness, step 3, meaning being non-judgmental and to not over-identify with these thoughts and feelings. That's another version of our CRAP acronym. CRAP's where it's at. And self-compassion goes hand in hand with self-forgiveness. I must forgive myself for carrying these thoughts about myself. Thoughts that cause me to experience pain and deny myself all the good that I deserve. Thoughts like, oh, I lost my partner, so I don't deserve another one. Or, I grew up in poverty and there's no way out. And somehow these things are my fault. There's an ancient story of two Buddhist monks who are walking through the countryside. And they come to a river, and there's a young woman standing there who's afraid to cross the river. So the older of the two monks picks her up and carries her across the stream, puts her down, and the two monks continue walking. Well, for miles, the young monk is nagging after the old one. Don't you remember we took this vow never to touch a woman? How could you do that? Oh my goodness, what are you gonna do to make up for that? And after about an hour, the old monk has had enough, and he turns to his companion and he says, all I did was carry the damsel across the stream, but you have been carrying her for the last hour. What old beliefs are you carrying? Because there's nothing like the lack of forgiveness of self and others that will block the flow of spirit within you. Unity writer Francis Folks wrote an effective prayer. As long as we cling in our mind to a past experience, it is given power to repeat itself in our life. Now, on a lighter note, a great source of lessons for almost a quarter century now has been SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, SpongeBob. I'm going to tell you a story about a time when SpongeBob practiced self-compassion. Okay? So in one episode, SpongeBob wants a sundae. But all that he has in his little pineapple house under the sea is some ketchup and an onion and some peanuts. He mixes this all together and he happily eats it. And then he goes out among the people, or the fish, in the town of Bikini Bottom. And every time he tries to strike up a conversation, that individual runs away from him. And so he's starting to feel some shame. What's wrong with me? Everybody's running away from me. So he goes to his friend, Patrick Star. And Patrick says, oh, SpongeBob, well, that's easy. You're ugly. Okay? More shame. But Patrick turns around and says, no, you're not alone in this. Be proud of it. So then SpongeBob goes around chanting, I'm ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud. Okay? But guess what? That's an error thought. It wasn't correct, right? That's not the reason that people were running away from him. So this is like how we hold on to these error thoughts. We hold on to these wrong ideas about ourselves, okay? And through some comic antics, they finally figure out that it's this onion breath that he has. And so then, he can forgive himself and accept himself and be peaceful in the moment because he knows that it's not something wrong with him. It's just that he stinks. And this is a common experience. So he can let it go and be peaceful in it. So now his chant is, I'm not ugly, I just stink. How many times do we feel like we stink, right? But it's something that passes. It's a situation we learn how to overcome, okay? So there's our SpongeBob story for the day. And this correct thinking has freed him of his unhappiness. And yesterday's daily word, in fact, read, accepting the idea that something is inherently wrong with me puts me at odds with myself and keeps me from fully feeling my oneness with God. So to forgive means giving up what is false for what is true. To give up the idea of separation for the idea of oneness. And Unity legend Ed Rabel taught, I do not forgive me. I align myself with forgiveness. I become one with it in belief and in acceptance, and it flows through me as a cleansing, freeing, loving reality, a divine idea. In other words, accept rather than take offense. There's nothing to forgive. It's like Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements, this one that says, don't take anything personally. Remember, your crap is where it's at. And yesterday, Reverend Juan led the university students in a workshop that included ideas in the book Radical Forgiveness. One of the resources is a self-forgiveness worksheet. And it includes this statement that I'd like you to read with me. I completely forgive you, Pam, insert your own name, for I now realize that you did nothing wrong and that everything is in divine order. I acknowledge, accept, and love you unconditionally, just the way you are. I recognize that I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and I love and support myself in every aspect of my humanness. Dog? Thank you. So what if I gave up all of the shoes that hurt me? All of our thoughts that create our pain. What if I gave up the shoes that hurt me, but I think I need them because of fashion or function? They serve their purpose, but now I can let them go. I'm going to fill my closet with shoes that fit with who I truly am. I am going to give up the false identity with its pain for the true shape of my feet. These fit the way that I walk in the world. And even in my most beautiful shoes that fit me perfectly, I will step in some crap. Now, when my Italian elders stepped in dog turds or they had the bluebird of happiness poop on their shoulders, they called this in, they realized that this was abundance, all good on its way. Good luck, yes. And I just love that transformation of a crappy moment for calling in abundance. So now is the time for you to use crap to fertilize the ground of your life. The next dog, please. The crap that you step on represents challenges that can create shame and guilt. Those life situations like job loss, divorce, illness, you can transform any situation into an opportunity for spiritual growth. When you use these tools for self-compassion and self-forgiveness, you remove the obstacles to the flow of all good. Your crap is where it's at. Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our YouTube channel. We post new videos every week to keep you positive, present, and inspired to your divinity. Please click on the subscribe button below and also that notification bell. Remember to share this with your friends and your family, those that you know will be inspired just like you have been. And always remember that we love you, that we bless you, that we behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. Thanks and take care.